All set, Richie?
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a motion on the minutes?
Second it.
All those in favor of the minutes being passed? All right. We'll start with the fire department budget.
So you want to go first, Steve?
Go ahead.
I don't have no plans, so. Well, I just, that probably takes a while, less time than ours does.
Well, we'll see. I guess you know everybody here, the newest member of the budget committee,
Yeah.
Jim has
I've seen you in a while.
Yeah, we've been.
Nick Randall,
Nick, how do you do?
he's assistant chief.
Yep, nice to meet you.
Okay. What do you suppose are some of the highlights this year?
Well, if we just want to,
Kind of run through it, yes.
yeah, we can just run right through it. We start with the first page, I kind of got out of it, we was just talking about. You'll see on the incentive and the salary for the different positions. The 8.7% increase that the administrator is pushing forward is, you know, entered into all of these. The 23, 24, you can see that on there.
That's 8.7.
Yep.
What are you looking to do?
Next page.
Yeah, the first,
The totals.
the first 2 pages is basically what I'm talking about. As far as contract with Bath EMS, I looked into that, we saw carry forward, and we're doing pretty good with that right now. Another year, I think, you know, we can stay the same, water districts looking the same.
It's amazing, 27 grand for hires.
Sorry, the third page.
How much of the town is on water? So I'm gonna ask these questions because I'm new.
That's no problem, we have basically the state road,
No.
Meadows Road all the way to the Green Acres, bigger private buildings, and then we come out this road to, what is it, to my house, what's the number? 129.
Yeah, I know what the last hydrant is, I guess
Yeah.
that's about.
So we, I mean, we have a pretty good area.
Yeah, yeah.
Of them.
Okay.
How many hydrants we carry? 14?
22.
22 now.
We'd like to see you come up to the town office someday, that would be nice.
I've seen it from my house.
Third page, computer programs, looked at all that stuff, nothing's changed there, so that pretty much can stay as is.
Didn't you start a new program, a new system, wasn't it, for monitoring or? What's your new program?
Yeah, it's been a while.
How is that working out?
One of them is about 9 years old,
Yeah,
and
that-
then the other one is about four.
How they, any changes in those programs, the same thing?
As far as the way they work? or-
Yeah, any new,
I mean, they update and get better, you know, with time like any,
so you use them for the,
you know, use them every day, basically.
Perfect example that I am responding, that goes directly to our cell phones, and we actually get the page before our pages go off.
okay?
You guys have your,
Yes. Yeah, ER was the one that got purchased about 10 years ago.
did you, are you staying with them?
Yeah,
We didn't plan to move.
we do all of our equipment tracking and all that stuff. NIMS reporting and everything is through ER.
They switched, there's a new company now,
Okay, all right.
but I got the, you
You're
know,
gonna do the transfer over?
they contacted me and that went very easy,
Okay.
so,
All right.
It's still called ER on our end, but I think the
Yeah.
parent company is different.
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
And I think they're still calling it that too, it's just the name of the company is different. But I didn't see any issues with that.
No, I had forgot that, yeah, sorry.
I know there was some talk about the streetwise and some stuff happening with that.
Yeah.
Fourth page on PPE, basically all that stuff it stays the same, there's just a slight increase on the actual jacket and pants. That's pretty much been an annual issue. It was a lot worse last year than it is this year. But the other items have stayed over the same lines.
So the equipment just wears out.
Well, no, I just mean as far as price increases by.
I mean, you're replacing, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, that stuff, I mean,
It has a shelf life of 10 years.
it does have a shelf life too.
So how about these things I'm here, reading and hearing about the PFAS chemicals and turn out being all that? Have you had any concerns?
It's not anything that we at our level is gonna be able to change. You know, the IFF is digging into it and some of the larger departments, but as for us, we're not gonna be able to say, we want PFAS free, because they're gonna say, we don't have it.
It's my
And
understanding.
it's,
It's my understanding the IFF just submitted a suit against NFPA, so it's being handled at like the national level, and there's not anything available anywhere that doesn't have it.
correct.
So what kind of precautions do you take for the firefighters? Washing, hosing down after, cleaning after each use?
Yeah, just taking good care of stuff, keeping it clean, keeping turnout gear out of basically everywhere in the fire station except for the apparatus bay. It's the only place that people are allowed to have it all.
Okay.
If they enter into the office room or into the sit-down room or out into the hall, there's signs all over, no turnout past this point, and we enforce that. We don't have a problem with it anyway. The guys are good about it, and it's been, even before this became a big scare, I can't stand people walking around in dirty fire. They keep it clean. So that's what we're doing. We haven't gotten to the clean cab stage yet. I don't know if you guys are doing that, but that's a hard thing to do, man.
And it's down at the manufacturer level anyway, so you get to a certain point where it's no longer in our hands, so.
Okay.
Yep. Moving on to professional dues and training. No changes there. Dues have been the same pretty much for quite a while. Utilities. There's obvious increases. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. You see the electric, playing it safe, bumping that to 6. Natural gas, by the looks of it, is pretty good. I mean, we're just about out of it now. And, what's remaining is not bad. I suppose if we had a harsh winter, we maybe could have upped that a little bit, but I kept it there and felt pretty comfortable with it, so I kind of thought I'd get the opinion of everybody else on that one.
Do you know what you have left?
I'm sorry, I gave it off the top of my head, but it's like just shy of 2,000. It was like 17 something.
So that'll probably have to carry you through.
Yeah.
Okay.
The issue with the telephone should be actually changing because the 2 lines I have to feed the fire alarm system we're going through a change with the fire alarm system that you'll see coming up, where the lines are cellular instead of land. We're going to be saving quite a bit of money on the phone line itself, so I definitely plan to see that change for next year. I did up it just because of the way it looks right now, but
The fire alarm system?
as far as on the phone line, the telephone line, you see I upped that a little bit just because of the way it's been riding along lately, but with this new, you see down here, fire alarm system, it goes from 1,000 to 2,270, and that's because we have a whole new program going in there. Basically, this setup here is maintenance. The annual inspection is integrated into it. It's not just a service fee. So I've had quite a bit of struggle with the fire alarm company lately. Crystal to test for me that, and this we finally got it ironed out. So you do see that increase from 1,000 to 2,270 for the alarm system at the station.
How do you think that'll change in years going forward?
It's going to be really nice.
I mean, as far as the cost goes and maintenance?
That's the annual cost. I mean, that's what was.
Once it's established, it should be just maintenance from there.
Yeah.
Why did the service of tablets go down to 0?
Well, that's one of the next things we're gonna get to.
Oh, sorry.
So anyway, you good with the other stuff, you got any more
Yes.
questions?
I got a question on electrical, actually.
Okay.
Hey, you guys, that doesn't seem like an equal bump to what everybody else has experienced, so is that enough?
I
mean,
when I do this, as you can imagine, I have every expense in front of me,
Right.
and that's what it looks like.
They did change over to LED a couple, 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
All the lights are changed over.
We have some other things that grab power that probably, I think I'm gonna try this year to turn a few other things off and save even a little more, but I don't know, I keep hearing about all these gigantic increases in power. My house, I've seen just a little increase, and the fire department is running about the same, so when it's coming, I don't know, but.
I think it's come for some people.
Yeah, that's what some people, their bills
Yeah.
tripled and quadrupled.
Good. I'm more curious than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's something I don't know, but the numbers that I'm tracking,
Should have already seen it by now.
I thought we would have seen it by now, so.
Good.
Can we unplug the clock?
Yeah.
You've done your hat.
That's a good answer for me.
Right. Okay, we'll go to the tablets now. That's something that we asked for in the past. We've had it for not quite 2 years. And basically what it does is it puts one of our computer programs, our respondent system, onto a tablet right in the fire truck. And it was one of those things that has the potential to work really well, but we've found that in the station they work really good, and out and about,
Not so good.
it's just so spotty that
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's just not really worth having them in there. So instead of,
Well,
Is-
it's not really worth having them hooked to cellular. What it is, they hook to the Wi-Fi in the station, and the good thing is the call comes out, and there is some response time for us, and they update completely before we even drive out of the station. So everything that we need is right there in front of us. We don't really need the,
Web connection.
exactly, we don't need to, follow ourselves down the bright blue line as it's tracking while we're on our way there, and if anything needs to get pulled up, for like extrication and stuff like that, that's saved on there anyway. So like the actual cellular connection is not needed.
Who's the carrier?
Verizon.
Doesn't go through the dispatch at all.
Well, Iron Respondent is monitored by the dispatch center.
All the information gets
Right.
input by dispatch,
Right.
which is the same as on our cell phones. But like I said, with just the response time, it already updates everything via Wi-Fi in the station before we even leave. So
So
the
you're,
cellular connection's not needed.
so you're safe with not fighting it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we've talked about it and recently came to that agreement together,
Yeah.
so I wish it was, I had hopes that it would just be better than it is. It's not, I'm just being honest about it. So,
All right.
septic clearance are $500 now on building maintenance, the next page, everybody's on it. And then, you'll see I have zeros on this, replace the heating units in the fire station. I actually did, I've been waiting on this quote, waiting. And I don't know how things go for all you people post-COVID, but getting things done to this day are still pretty difficult.
It's slow.
So I did finally get a ballpark number sent to me in a text today, but I don't have the actual quote to go by. But they're talking in the ballpark of $15,000 for the replacement of the 2 units that are in the station, the fire station itself. We have, I'm sorry?
What kind of units are they?
The brand of them is Coleman, and they burn natural gas. They used to be propane, they got converted. And they've been really good. We have them serviced every year. That's the normal. And then this year comes along, and I've just had a lot of trouble with them. And during that cold snap, that real bad cold snap with all the wind, we were down to actually one, waiting for parts for the other. And the other one wasn't really even acting that good. So as you can imagine, I didn't get a lot of sleep that night. I've spent a lot of time this winter worrying about that fire station and those heat units. So I talked to, you know, our service person, and I said, what do you think about this? And he said, well, you know, nothing lasts forever. You've
How
got,
old are they?
they're pro in the ballpark of 25 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, they work pretty hard. So, that's something that I would like to be able to get done. And I apologize for not having an accurate price, but as soon as I get it.
What do we have left in the, your old capital account?
That, you know, that,
I don't have the number right with me, I'm sorry.
We didn't spend all of it on the truck? No, the park warrant, was it?
that put a pretty good hurting on it. And I didn't bring the numbers with me either because we don't usually talk about capital in here, so.
I'm just wondering if they
But,
need to be replaced this year. Should we plug a number in there now just to cover ourselves if we need it come next fall?
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't make it through another season yet. I don't want another season like this one.
So-
It's not,
So
You would-
it's cheaper to do it proactively.
You would-
It's been pretty consistent that one has dropped off for the other one. over
Yeah.
the past 3
And
years.
the age of them may not sound.
So why don't we,
I don't even know if we're right on that, Steve. 25 years sound right? You're probably older than that.
Quite a while.
I
because
think
they
I
were propane
remember,
before that.
Right, and there's a lot of moisture comes from the propane and stuff, so it's,
So,
I remember those units being in there in the 90s anyway, 95, 96.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And they were converted from propane to
Right.
natural gas, so they're the same ones. But
but I'm just wondering, John, if we should put a number in there in case you need them.
I would like to,
So,
because
what do you think?
either that or I pass the worry off to somebody else. Because, you know, I just don't want to go
Well, no, if you-
anywhere like this one.
No,
Then I just mean that sarcastic.
I'm not saying that at all, but you don't want to have a die in the middle of the night, pipes freeze and all that
Exactly.
stuff.
It's also the warming
We got fire trucks in there with
Yeah.
pumps.
Oh, that's
It's
involved.
not just the pipes in the station, those are
That's
these.
separate.
Yeah, I know,
Fire
but
trucks really.
you didn't want the damage.
Right.
The town doesn't want the damage, so you had a email of how much, 15?
Yeah, like I said, I did get a message this afternoon, that was a ballpark of 15, and I've got a quote coming. That should be
So-
here within the next, hopefully, few days.
Well, how about this then? When you get the quote, let Christine know and she can let us know.
Yeah.
And we're just.
Yeah, I'll definitely work it into the.
We'll just pencil in
Overall budget.
15,000 for the night and then get the actual quote and we'll go from there. We can't take a chance on that, no, it's not worth it.
No, it's definitely
We've
not.
made some pretty good efforts in the years past, you know, circulating fans in the overhead and weather stripping around the big doors and stuff like that to try and mitigate heat loss and
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but they're just old.
So, any agreement with the public
Absolutely,
15?
it makes all
now?
kinds of sense.
And even with the,
All right.
you know, the attempt to mitigate some of it, that building is always just kind of,
He should have looked at
it
matches.
was a kit that,
Yeah,
it was a kit that was put together.
It's held up, all right.
Yeah, it's a good building, it just, I would say it heats a little hard, you know. a little-
All right, so we're gonna plug 15 grand for that for the night.
Okay. Vehicle and equipment maintenance, next page, slight increases, nothing, you know, hose testing going up just a little bit, service for the extrication tools, as of everything else. Stay the same.
All right.
Same thing with the next page. Repeal. This goes to EMS supplies. If anybody has any questions, obviously, please let me know. So new equipment, you'll see is the share of the fit test machines in Saginaw County. So many years ago, the Saginaw County Fire Chiefs purchased a fit test machine that each department has shared over the years. We have to fit test annually.
Right.
And wear our respirators. This new machine will not only do our SCBA's, but it will do our N95s for EMS calls.
Okay.
Yeah, and we just had a meeting, Saginaw Fire Chiefs, a couple weeks ago, and it's looking like this is the most that we're gonna pay, and it could even be less, it depends. Right, we have, the majority are in, we have a couple that aren't, so we'll see, but it could be up to this. And then this also includes the maintenance program for 5 years, which comes as a package, pretty much a package deal.
So where is it normally housed?
We house it in West Bath, and then whoever, it just kind of runs on a schedule.
Yeah, when you're.
Right, but its home base is West Bath.
Okay.
And it's one of those, I mean, if we're gonna go out and buy that ourselves, we're talking, you know, 16,000 plus.
Oh, it makes sense to share if you need once a year.
It's worked out really well over the years, of doing it this way, and it's the old one actually still works, but we have to do a new one. I mean, it's really on its way out.
Yeah.
We've been lugging that thing along, so, that's a good opportunity for us to do that. If not, we'd have to buy one for ourselves or outsource it from somewhere else, so.
All right.
And then just with new equipment aside from that piece, you know, kept it white this year. We're doing really well. We've gotten a lot of enjoyment lately. But I just asked for these water rescue helmets with some lighting accessories that go with them to replace the ones that we had that I know are 30 years old. It's just for them, so.
That reminds me of our last ones, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure,
Yeah, we have.
for sure.
Yeah. And then, on the last page, talking about per diem shifts, actually, Deputy Randall, you know, broke the ice on the discussion with me, and we talked about it, and I don't know if you just want to touch base on what.
Yes, so this past year, you know, we've done Saturday, Sunday successfully every weekend since,
That's a daytime,
that's, yeah,
staffing daytime.
correct.
8 to 4.
Yeah, some of those initial responses that we were talking about with I am responding before the pager even went off with some of the per diem shifts, it was actually fairly comical to hear the radio traffic on that. Anyway, so we had discussed, you know, there's also holidays that are observed during the week where the chief has the day off. We'd like to cover those, and then the chief does a monthly training, you know, for his codes where he's out of town. We'd like to backfill a guy with that as well, so the holidays, there's 10 there, and then 12 annual trainings, comes to 136 days for the year, and that reflects that.
136?
Total,
Total, yeah.
including the weekends.
And then this dollar figure that you can see here also reflects that 8.7% plus the next.
So what do you see for the benefits of this package, this program?
Overall, or what we're asking for now.
For the overall shift, you know, being covered on weekends, how's it improved the department?
It's improved just the daily operations of the department as far as equipment being maintained, the station being kept better, even better than it was before. I mean, we've always kept it really nice. The guys have their duties when they get there. They honestly respond to emergency calls. There's other things that come up that, you know, if I have something that pops up, I can ask you know, whoever's on which day, you know, I got another task for you, you know, if you can take this on. It's worked pretty well. We've had a handful of pretty serious medical calls where our staff has been on scene first with our equipment. And an overall morale booster. We haven't had a problem filling any of the shifts. We have not had anybody miss a day. So.
Yeah, we've got certified drivers in the firehouse every shift, so.
And we have more drivers now than that department's ever had.
So is there just one person on there?
It's one person for now. We would like to see it go to 2, but we didn't wanna get pushy, so, I mean, it's a work in progress. And the Wednesdays, I'm out of town one Wednesday a month, and every single time I'm out of town, we have a call. And depends where people are and what they're doing. You know, it's stressful for me to be out of town and listen to that,
But,
and not be able to do
yeah.
anything,
So what is the hourly wage now for the shift, you know?
18. With the new increases.
Oh, the new fee is 18,
Right now, what we're, this week,
plus,
18.
plus the 8.
With the increase, it's $19.50, 50 or so cents.
Okay. And you have no problem staffing this shift?
we just hope that's 9 months.
Yeah, I do all the staffing, instant.
So how many,
Yeah, it shows right up.
how many different firemen are doing this,
14.
what you're involved with this shift?
Yeah, we're good. You guys like it, they enjoy it. And the other thing is you know, they're doing stuff in the station that, you know, we have Ron, who's the electrician, who decided that the outlets in the day room didn't match, so he took it upon himself to change those, and they're just improving stuff all the time. I mean, the guys just, we moved our office upstairs and moved the day room downstairs, and the guys painted it all with a big logo. You know, they're definitely, they're not over there sleeping. They're finding plenty of stuff to do, and things that just make the place better. And
So do they have a normal shift, like a checklist of things you want done?
yeah,
Okay.
so when they get there in the morning, the list is there for them. And like I said, if there's something special on there, I'll talk to the person who's there that day directly and say, hey, can you know, take care of this today as well. You know, and if they wanna run down to the store and get a coffee, I mean, they can obviously.
Yeah.
If they need to go to Napa for something or whatever, they'll leave the station, but they're available. So,
How many members in the department now? How are the ones holding up?
they're holding up well. We're always between like 20 and 25.
And do you lose people because they need more training, or they go someplace else, or?
We don't really lose people.
No, we train more than any department I can think of in the area. Maybe aside from the, you know, the career departments.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we occupy four Tuesday nights a month if there is 4.
Are there any members?
If there's 5, we do 5.
Right, I mean, sorry, if there is 5, then we do 5. But, you know, training used to be 1 night a month. Guys train every single Tuesday night in a different form. So, second Tuesday's training for the young guys, the new people, third Tuesday's the regular. Then they add the 4th Tuesday where they do driver training. So we just have people that are eager to be there and want to get better at what they do, so.
Is anybody going to fire school this year?
Yeah, we've got 3 people in Fire 1 and 2 Academy right now.
And that's going well?
where is that, chief?
It's basically based out of the Thompson station,
Oh.
but they go to different training facilities for the hands-on stuff, and I think they use the Yarmouth training facility, and I don't know if they do anything.
Just curious, because that's.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on?
And it's, you know, just, you know, getting a little bit more information on it. These people have, you know, a healthy share of book work to do. It's basically like taking a, you know, a course.
Yeah.
College course. So they have to dedicate a lot of time to it. They have it 2 nights a week and then on the weekends. So, they'll be wrapping it up here in the spring, and then, you know, that puts 3 more guys on the floor that are Fire 1 and 2. So.
And what do you think of the trucks? How's they holding up? Anything we need to change this year, or do you suspect in the next 2 or 3 years, or?
Well, the next one to go, as I've said right along, is the 05 F550 Ford. And basically, I'd like to replace that with something that's quite similar, but just with a bigger box on the back. That truck was too small when they backed into that station. And
What year was that?
It's an '05.
05 or something. I was newer than that. It's, say, this one had the turbo problems?
Yeah, it said 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like the transmissions.
16,000 miles, yeah, I'd definitely go with the gas one next time around. And something like the old one where you can get up in the back of it. It's,
Just too small.
Yes.
in the pickup truck, I mean, I got 15 people that ask me every time they see me if they can have that truck. Because it's a 2000 and it's in good shape. As far as I'm concerned, it can stay there for a lot longer. I mean, it
Serves the purpose.
still does what we need it to do. You know, it doesn't get a ton of miles put on it. Sometimes the guys go into class, they'll run it over the tops and, you know, we use it for odds and ends, but to go out and buy, you know, $55,000 truck right now, I just don't really see it. I know it's kind of old and people wonder, geez, how long you guys are gonna keep that for, but
How many miles?
44,000. So,
Any other questions?
Yeah, if I was the wizard of the budget and I could give you any kind of money you want, what would be your priority, chief? I'm expecting that question.
replace the truck that we were just talking about.
Okay, yep, good, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not the wizard of
All right,
Anybody, you guys all set? Anybody any questions?
we'll see if the number comes back from the estimate on the heaters, go from there.
Yes, you'll know that as soon as I do.
Being a neophyte, if I had a question or something on some of this stuff, would it be okay to give you a call and talk to you a little bit?
Anytime.
Okay, thanks.
Dave, while the fire chief's here, we kind of got a bad in it. We ought to get him involved in a couple others for budget.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Paving in front of the fire department,
Mm.
it really needs it, it's really starting to get broken up and still run down.
So, you must have that in your budget, right?
Yes. We do,
Okay. So that's,
but it involves the fire department, so it's worth having them in the conversation.
I personally think the whole station should be repaved. It hasn't been done in probably 30 years. And now it's getting to the point where it's gonna cost a lot more to fix the places and to repave it.
so would you tear up the old stuff?
In places.
That's
It's
okay.
basically, I can tell you what's happened to the place, and there ain't much we can do about it. It's all these trucks that have been coming in and filling in beside the fire department.
Oh,
And
yeah,
they all, when they're loaded, they twist right there,
yeah.
that point, and it's just been truck after truck after truck all year long. So eventually it's broke up and now we need to do something about it. I mean, the trucks that, right now there's some potholes up front there, close to a foot deep, and those trucks gotta go right through it to go to Bath. So,
Well, I'd say if that's the case, we're gonna do something about it.
Yeah.
And like you said, Steve, I think we're to the point
It's
where
almost that line.
that traffic
It's only.
coming down over the hill is gonna slow down because he doesn't really have much room left
right,
to do what he's doing
Exactly.
there.
and I sure would like to see a light out front of the fire department.
See what?
A light that snaps on when they have a call. The cars seem to keep going faster and faster down through there.
Yeah, the light up towards PDQ and then up
Yep,
towards the
just
ledges.
a flashing
Yeah.
red light or something, when that line goes off and they pull up them doors.
Yeah, you take your life in your own hands pretty
Yeah.
much every time you pull out of there,
You
whether
have
it's
to,
emergency or
like,
not.
Come up to the road and then like, are you actually stopping? Are you
Right.
actually, then you can go.
Well, can you stop me and they'll take back off and stuff, you know?
And you price that system's up,
Well, as far as what goes,
the lights.
No, well, that would be,
I don't.
I don't even know who you contact to do that.
Like,
Would it be the state?
I'll contact the state, they seem to have money for stuff like that.
well, it's their road,
It definitely is,
so.
and it's,
It's a state road.
I haven't seen too many fire departments that don't have a light out there. I mean, look at Warwick, they're stopping, no Route 1 now.
Well, actually, if we
Come
were
Brunswick,
gonna,
they're getting rid of one.
if if we were gonna contact, the state, I'd also like to get one of those preempters for the light, that every other town in this area can turn it green when they're coming through, except for us, and it's in our town.
Yeah, we were supposed to get one when they put that light up.
Yeah, that was part of the package.
Hmm.
The one at,
The full
That
function.
ended after a few emails.
Well, maybe you can check with the state on that, see if they suggest.
Yeah, I certainly can get a look into that. It's a good idea, Steve, really. Something I hadn't thought of.
You ain't had a real full call yet.
Yeah.
Citizen post, that's in that old tanker we used to have.
Yeah.
You missed a gear coming out of there, you were there.
So as far as that, as far as the paving that Steve's talking about, what, what do you guys wanna see for that? Do you have a ballpark of what that would cost? 'Cause I'm
But
not,
it depends on whether we go with the whole parking lot or just fix out front.
right?
I guess leave that discussion up to you guys, using the road commissioner, the fire department.
I would say do the whole front of the fire department, maybe another time do the other side of the hall.
Yeah.
What we incorporated into the draft budget is really just for the front, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think the hall parking lot would be fun, you know, maybe just freshen up some stripes or something.
Right.
I think overall,
Yeah.
paving's
And
pretty good.
we're working, you know, that's something we should work together also on is striping. You know, we get our stripers guys together, we should have them over there. The fire department should be done every year, just like our roads.
Yeah, I had it done, needs to be done again this year. And I don't know, who do you use?
We've switched,
Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different team that comes out and does regular striping though, so we'd probably have to find somebody that does.
The guy I had do it, he comes and does both parking lots and the three big nice stripes in the fire station for like $400.
So we probably ought to stick with him, because I don't believe Lucas is gonna come down with the crew.
No.
Yeah, he does it with glass beam.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did a nice job, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe how
That's, we're going with that on side of the road, if you haven't noticed that glass piece that you can wash.
It's like $4. Yeah.
Cheap now.
Okay.
Half that's paint.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So,
Well, that's all we got.
all right, thank you.
Thanks.
it's obvious you thought this through.
I tried to,
That's all he thinks about.
yeah.
I don't believe that.
I don't sleep well.
I wouldn't call me a liar on that one.
Okay.
I went away for 3 days the other day and I slept every night with the earplugs in my ear and I slept so good my life.
See you later.
Have a good night, everyone, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You want me up there or right here?
Oh, come right up here, Steve, by all means.
Get right up front.
Steve, we have that from Jim Atherton.
Steve, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So, what are your highlights, sir?
Well, the highlights is we need to do some work on Birch Point Road.
Oh my God, 77 potholes, if you wanna know how many.
That was today.
I drove bus down there.
I mean, it's tomorrow, the motor tomorrow.
or tomorrow.
How's the other roads as far as driving bus on now?
Not too bad. Birch Point is horrible,
Yeah.
absolutely horrible.
You know, when I went down Birch Point, I had to get a kidney transplant.
Before or after?
And I am buying the school buses, so I'd like to have that for a fix, so you don't ruin my bus.
You are?
Yes, I-
Congratulations. Big responsibility.
How many is that?
8.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. Hmm. Wow. All right, so that's the big one, the Bridge Point now.
That's the big, if you notice in most of the other budget, it's pretty much stays the same. I mean, there's certain things we had to go up on as far as like picking and striping, that's doubled in the last 3 or 4 years. Just for the price of paint and getting them. Now, if you notice on the first point, I'm not quite sure how to do this. The road committee and a few others are supposed to be working on how we're gonna present this. So I'm basically asking for $300,000 to get this up and going on the ground, for engineers. Whatever we gotta do to put some patching down there to get it smoothed out until we figure out if we're gonna do the whole thing at once.
Is this,
This is
the
not,
road including the washout or just the,
this is the main road, it has nothing to do with the erosion.
nothing to do with the end of the road then?
No, but there is a budget in here for that. A separate one.
Yeah, that amount will be carried over from this current year.
How much is that?
250,000.
That's carried over?
Yeah, and it will probably be, the budget will probably be over $250,000. It was appropriated at last town meeting.
Right, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, it's probably going to exceed the $250,000, but that's the amount that I'm gonna ask to be carried over into the 23-24 budget for the erosion.
Are we still looking into a grant for that?
Yes,
Any luck?
not yet.
So you're looking at
We might be getting to a point where
$500,000 for Birch Park Road?
Yeah,
Have you been down it lately?
Yeah, it's a mess.
it's one of the last roads that we've got. for a while.
When did we rebuild that? I know we did it in 3 phases.
We built that back in the
We did three phases.
early 2000s. But then again, it was just ditched and paved over. There was no structural work done. There was some blasting and ditching, but there was no base of the road.
We spent $300,000 on it.
Yes, we did. And that was good back then. But as far as my personal opinion, I think it's gonna cost $1.5 million to do that road.
Would it be smart to just start with one?
It's hard to do it that way with all the people that live down there now. You know, we gotta keep egress and out.
So how are you supposed to do it?
I
We're
propose,
building the bad sections, the worst sections now?
what I would like to do this year is go down and fix the real bad spots, people that are losing their kidneys and stuff on.
Digging out the road and...
Not digging no road, fixing the potholes, replacing the culverts, do ditching where ditching's needed. Get it engineered by whoever we wanna hire for an engineer. A lot of these jobs that I got on here now, like ditching and all that, we gotta hire an engineer to have them done, to get this work done.
Why is that?
The town is pushing, make a short story short, I thought you might know this, but I did my own little picture of the ditching on the road and put it out there. Well, that was not satisfying for the town. So now, to get to be satisfying and get the lingo and everything in there they want, we need an engineer to do it.
What part of the town was not satisfied?
This was down Sabino.
Well, but what part of town government was not satisfied with that?
The select people and the road committee. It's making my job very hard right now. To get the work done, I can't just tell somebody, go do this, tell them how to do it. They want everything engineered now.
Is that a position of the town?
no.
This
Not
one's,
an official position, and the select board hasn't taken any formal action.
Because the road committee does not
Right.
tell how to do.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that the road committee had questions, and they had, or, at least some of the members had an opinion of how this work should be handled. It was discussed with the Board of Selectmen to some extent, but the select board never took any formal action to change Steve's position or make any changes to the way we approach
Well, I
these
just hope we
jobs.
don't, as a town, make things too difficult. They don't need to be difficult, whether it's ditching or something like that. Doesn't seem to need to be too in-depth. Whether it's ditching that.
I think we're looking at trying to get a meeting with the select board and the road committee all at once, and people have been traveling and whatnot, and now everyone's back in town, and we're prepared to do it.
Well, I hope we don't make it too difficult, it costs the town money we don't need to spend.
Well, that's what it's gonna do.
What are the qualifiers for an engineer right now?
Well, I have one engineer confirm that we've been using Pine Tree, he's been giving us a good deal and stuff.
No, I mean, like, at what point now is an engineer required?
Anything you put out to bid,
According to the road committee.
it's,
Well,
No, I mean, like, as far as.
No,
right now,
the current policy, I don't have it right in front of me, so I'm not sure exactly what it says, but basically, if you're reconstructing or rebuilding a road, it requires engineering.
every way they don't addiction. I tried to do it, I did a thing, I put the bids out there to 3 different people that came back, and I got nothing but slam.
Right, but
So,
that
I don't
isn't,
wanna be a part of doing
that
that.
isn't an official policy, though. That was just, the
Yeah,
opinion of people who
I
had.
don't want
concerns.
to confuse things, I don't want opinions, I want to know right now, like, as
Yeah.
it sits right now, what the policy is for the town of West Bath.
Well, our policy has been, if we're reconstructing a road, we use engineering services, and that's what we've done with Pine Tree.
So do we need to engineer ditching?
I would hope not.
I don't think anyone's looking to have it ditching
Well,
engineer.
I just trusted the,
One thing the road committee talked about with the ditching is that we would have specifications for ditching that were created by an engineer.
A
And
standard
a standard, then we would use that standard
for all ditching.
for all of the ditching projects. Now, from where we're coming from in West Bath, where we're just starting to improve our processes, I think that's a little bit ambitious. That is my opinion.
well, I think that, the select board's appointing a road commissioner based on the experience and knowledge of these roads, especially in town here. I think a lot of deference should be given to his opinion how to do these things, especially ditching some of the simple things, replacing the culvert. The culvert's probably $5,000 now, right?
It is, David, and then I agree 100% with you, and that was all working pretty good.
Well, if we haven't, get off track a little bit, but if we haven't changed the official policy,
We've been trying to have
then
a
we're
meeting
still,
and people
we're
around town.
still in the old policy right now, right?
Right.
That's why I asked, I just want to know
All right.
what I'm.
As far as I know,
Well, that can have a big effect on the budget if you get an engineer.
yes, it does, and this is kind of why this budget is the way it is right now, because I'm sorry, but as you guys as road commissioner, I don't know where I can go anymore without getting picked apart, pushed back, and feel like this high the time I'm done doing the project.
Well, let's get this settled down, and have a meeting and clarify what the road commissioner's job is, because, this is gonna add a lot of money here for nothing, in my opinion. I'm not speaking for the board, I'm speaking for the committee, I'm speaking for myself, that it seems foolish to get too tight of engineering every little thing, when some things are pretty basic.
Steve and I sat down for a significant period of time to come up with what we have here. And we think this is reasonable to go into the next fiscal year.
It's reasonable as if I can
If you can do
find
it.
3 guys and say, hey, this is what I want done, to do it. But if I write something down wrong on that bid and they wanna pick it apart every which way they can to make it not seem right. I mean, I'm not a licensed engineer, I've done a lot of road work, I've done a lot of different stuff, but I'm not a licensed engineer, so.
So are there, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I don't understand any of this. Are there standards for this type of work? Are there adopted standards by the
No.
state or something for culvert?
This type of work, it changes every place you go.
Yeah.
It all needs something.
Different roads.
There's no DOT
Right.
standard?
Some of it came to when bids were coming in, because we have anything over 5,000 is a bid, anything over 20,000 is sealed bid from a purchasing policy. And people were quoting on different elements and different procedures, and you're asking the select board to make a determination as to which bid is meeting the project, And if we don't have a standard on type of culvert, size of culvert, whatever's supposed to be in there to help us make good decisions on behalf of the town,
I just,
that's where we're trying to.
yeah, I asked because I would just, that's something I would expect would exist.
No. From a budget
Some
standpoint,
sort of a standard.
we've gone from engineering from $2,000 budgeted, year-to-date, almost 5,000, and we got $50,000 in engineering.
And it ain't gonna stop there.
So I think the select board better get a better handle on this.
I don't think that's gonna happen before we go to town meeting. I truly do not.
This has been going on now, for over a year. And I'm not ready to give up my position, because I don't think I'm needed really anymore, because everybody else has got the answers.
I think some of the incremental prices, and I'm certainly not speaking because I'm not the engineer either, were on certain price points, which I think what the road committee was trying to look at was if you spend X amount of dollars, they were looking at an engineer review at certain points to make sure we met certain components on a $150,000 spend. That's why some of the engineering is going up, to make sure the town is getting what we're supposed to be getting.
Well, I think maybe, in some cases, we get a little carried away budget-wise, adding a lot of engineering costs.
I always tried to go out there and see what I could see to know, to give you guys a budget.
But if it covers $5,000,
No one's looking to have an engineer on that.
we should.
No one's looking for that, that's not,
It should just be estimates on that.
Our current bid policy is untenable as far as road work goes. It does not work.
What was that?
What do you mean?
Our bid policy, it doesn't work for road work. It works for other parts of town and other projects.
And $5,000 is not,
But it does not work for the roads.
No.
And it has not been followed since long before I came here. I don't think that we can say, well, we have to revert to the bid policy. I don't think that's practical, and I don't think it serves the town.
not for a small,
Well, Dave, it's not stopping there either. It's going on as far as ditching. Now you're gonna need flaggers at each end of the road. You're gonna need erosion control, you're gonna need this, you're gonna go that. So that quick $5,000 ditch job is no such thing anymore. You're gonna have $5,000 in flaggers, ditching.
well, hopefully we get something straightened out in the next few months before we get too much in the next budget year.
And the reason, one of the biggest reasons the engineer is, quote, so high this year is that Burst Point Road needs some serious work. And I don't feel comfortable going down there and saying, this is what we need to do, because I got way too many people hovering over my back right now, just telling me I'm doing whatever. But I think to be on my side, to feel comfortable, is to have an engineer come in, go down through this road, tell them what we need, figure out the budget we need for this, and then I give that to you. I don't dare to give you some of these budgets anymore.
Well, I would say major road construction, yes.
Right.
The simple.
But that's one of the biggest reasons you see it went up so much this year. We have a major project.
Yeah.
We are gonna need engineer help.
No, I agree with
So
that.
it does sound bad, like 5,000 to 50,000, but we have, I figure, $1.5 million job there. You're gonna have $50,000 worth of engineering. I mean, me being part of the town, I want an engineer, I want it done right, if we're gonna spend that kind of money.
For those projects, I would say engineering, but for some of these things.
Yeah, I mean, as far as coming to ditching, shoulder work, stuff like that, we need to slow down on that stuff. Or come up with some standard procedure that we have in the town. Okay, this is what we do for this. And I think that's more or less what the selectmen want to see, but it just keeps going, getting out of hand every time it comes to discussion with 8 or 10 people.
So, going forward, we'll address that, I guess.
Yes, we would like to. I definitely want to see some conclusion to it, because it leaves administration in limbo. Administration meaning me, Steve.
It also leaves the budget in the road too.
It does.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, this is gonna be awful hard to discuss at this point.
This is the best we could come up with, assuming that Steve is gonna be able to carry out his.
Years past, I've done 4 or 5 major jobs in this town, and not bragging nothing, I think every one of them up notch for what we had. Starting with the Hill Road, Spino Road, Bull Rock Road, both ends of it, you know, made an improvement that this town never saw in 50 years. And now it seems like we're starting to make good improvements, making leeway. People want everything all changed.
No, Hill Road.
Huh?
Hill Road, nice.
Well, so is Bull Rock.
Yeah, but I drove bus on the old Hill Road, and then I've driven it since you've redone it,
Right,
and
but
man, what a difference.
as a road commissioner, and to keep our budget the way it should be, you need to give him the responsibility and leave him alone.
And we haven't done,
Unless he makes a major mistake and screws up, and everybody wants.
I think that's part of the engineer review though, right, is so you don't make a big mistake, right?
Right.
And so you're not held accountable for something that was a mistake.
On
right?
And then that's why these major jobs, we had the Rock Road, both sides of it engineered.
Right.
We just did the Mount Road, I don't know if you guys been down there,
yeah.
but that was a major improvement on that spot.
Haven't been down
Yeah, and we've done Sabino, which we managed to do the whole road and that's the good, you know.
So in your mind, the Birch Point is the major and worst road in town right now.
It is major, and that's why I put such a figure in there, I'm probably repeating myself, but like I say, it needs to get something done immediately, it needs patchwork, it needs some drainage fixed, it needs pieces to make people feel comfortable to drive without wrecking their car.
How are the rest of the roads?
The rest of the roads are pretty nice.
Yeah.
Actually, the fire chief complimented today that he never hit the ceiling once with his head with a fire truck anymore.
This time of year, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember a few times taking this little button on top of my hand. You probably remember too.
Yeah, a couple times.
That's it on Boulevard Road. I remember Pepe coming back with it.
Oh my God.
And Santa Crossing Road, that's held up, isn't it?
It's held up, it's not ideal, but then again, having a 17-foot wide road in town of West Bath isn't ideal.
Yeah.
And there's another little issue that we're coming across. Okay, we had an engineer, the guy did a standard procedure, he's saying 21 foot wide, all this, okay? Well, when we go to do the work and everything, you can't do that whole width, it's just not feasible for the town. But that's a standard procedure, it's in his computer that he goes through to how to do the stuff. So we did have some complaints about the width of the road ain't as wide as it's supposed to be.
Where is this?
This was on Bull Rock Road. So
On the lower end?
yeah. So basically, I mean, you can't put the roads into the, you don't want to put the tower in a telephone pole because it's gonna get hit and, I mean, it was adequate for the traffic, I thought. But,
Well, the state law is 20 feet, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it is.
That's standard, yes. It's-
That's
I
what the
believe it's
engineer
21.
plans call for.
What do,
Yeah, it's out of fire code, it's 20 foot minimum travel distance.
Right.
so right now you feel the rest of the roads are in good shape?
I'm saying that we got,
I mean, they need work, but overall.
I'm saying we get caught up with our paving and everything. I think we're doing good. That's why you'll see that I like to see the fire department
Yeah.
paved. If we got some school work, maybe we should get that in paved. You know, a few places touched up, but we have no major full roads to do. Couple of years, yes, I think we're gonna have to wanna overlay the Hill Road will be up to do. It'll be like 8, 10 years.
Mhm.
Be time to go give that a second go and start over again.
And as far as tree trimming, any road particular you're looking to do,
I plan on doing Birch Point.
wiping the road at the same time?
Good. Well, what I wanna do, that's in that's why that's up a little higher, is send whoever, will put it out to bid, tree cutter. And it's not gonna be with a little saw either, they're gonna go down through there and they're gonna open that up all the way down through, so when we get some light on that road,
Some sun?
get the engineer so they can see stuff, or when they go down, see what needs to be fixed. I like for the select people, and anybody else, would like to go down and just walk the road, and, you know, before we get doing anything. Do we need engineer, or do we wanna do this, or what? to make a plan on it, but at least we have money to get things rolling.
One of the things that came up was, what did we want as our rotating minimum salt and sand? To always keep a quantity, what was that, we talked about that at a meeting.
Yep,
We got down too low, and I thought we should always have a standard, whatever yardage.
Well, I guess that would depend on what time of year it is.
Well, this was we
I
got
know.
down to like 17 yards or something, which wasn't.
17 yards of salt.
Oh, just salt.
Just salt, pure, no, the pure salt.
That's what I
They
mean.
had plenty of sand and all that. As far as I know, when this whole contract got awarded and stuff, we weren't giving this all that salt though. So I was trying to conserve on the salt, but all of a sudden.
But what do we, so that we
We
don't.
don't have that, we need to make one.
So that's what I'm asking, we had that discussion, we didn't know what was the appropriate response.
Right.
So what mixture of salt and sand should we always have? So that if we deplete it from a storm, we make sure we replenish it before the next, so that we can always
But you
get through.
can't really do that through the winter, that's all said filled. We plan on that building the size it is, we fill it every year, and that'd be adequate.
How did we get too low this year?
How did we get so low? Because we had, we got low on salt, and we weren't supposed to be letting them use that much salt. When we decided on the contract that we was gonna allow to have 50 tons of salt there, if they needed it. But now they're using it for every storm going out against the site.
So what I'm asking you then, what is the ratio, how much should we wear?
It's 100 pounds per yard.
Of mixture of,
Sand, the sand should have 100 pounds of salt per yard for a mixture in the town. The state used to go 200 pounds per yard, and then you also have, basically the contract comes up this year, and that's something we need to figure out and put in the contract.
well, that's why I'm asking.
Yep. you're
Because
right.
I couldn't answer the question, and I didn't know what was the response
Well, because
was.
it didn't go the way it was supposed to.
I don't,
So-
path forward, if
Well,
it's under half.
That won't be something real salt here.
No,
So that's-
it was on, I saw the sand shed was on here,
So
so I
that's-
took the time to ask it.
Yeah, so that's not our,
And the deal with the salt and sand, they were doing good on that, buying it, having it there. It worked out just the way I said, we'd have some left over some years, we didn't have to buy some the following years.
yeah.
So this year, we didn't buy as much sand, for the simple reason is you have sand that's been sitting back there for 5 years. So we wanted to get low, use that up and get, right. So, that's why that part got down, but it never got down low enough to even worry about.
How many yards does it take to do the town, one trip?
It used to take, 60 yards,
60 yards to do the whole town?
but I think James.
Per trip,
Per trip.
per storm.
As far as plowing the school, the fire station here, use that sand, so.
I use mine.
Which I think that he should be using the same sand as all. We're gonna be giving it to the contractor that does the road.
No, I don't want it.
Well, I think we're buying it and I don't know, I haven't really checked your work to see if you can skip it on sand and salt at school and stuff, so. I just think that it should be available for who's ever doing the municipal buildings.
The reason why I don't is because if I'm plowing the school and say John Bean wants to be sanded,
Hmm.
I can't sand his driveway because I don't have my sand in the sand.
That's
Oh,
true,
I
that's
see.
the
There's a little flexibility.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes
I
sense.
want my sand,
No,
do whatever I want.
Not the town sander, yeah.
You
Right,
know,
no,
if
that's-
someone says you ain't got enough sand at the school, I'll go put more sand down.
All right.
That's the
There's
way it's
also-
always been.
No, that sounds good. I mean, that's just things.
Jamie's not gonna take a truck to go sand a driveway because it's too big.
Jamie also wanted to add a turnaround, what was this tight spot that he wanted?
I have that in the budget also.
Yeah, Larry Road.
Larry Road.
Yeah.
They wanted to take that off of the town route and give it to you because the trucks were too hard.
Well, in my opinion on that, is that Jamie has small trucks too. He's got the town contracts, the town road, start taking other responsibilities of him being responsible of who was doing it on a town road.
That'll be up to the select board to decide on that, not us.
But it's in the snow contract.
But it's not us to call that.
So the sand, as I was getting at, it's working. We just gotta figure out a number, how much we're gonna give whoever's contracted for the sand, a number on the side. There's no number on it now. There
So,
was a number, but it's not being paid.
you just stripe all the roads, all of them, town roads.
Sweep them straight. And that went up quite a bit.
Yeah,
I mean, ever since they had that freeze
in
Texas,
Yeah.
it's just, it's, all this stuff is just crazy, and trying to get people, it's a lot like this stuff, just trying to get people to come do it, or even just give you a price on something.
So the, parking lot striping here on the town office, does that need to be redone?
Yes,
So we, work with the
They
fire,
asked for it.
we work with the fire department too,
yes.
same time they do
Yeah,
that?
we wouldn't use Lucas for that.
Okay.
No, Lucas is strictly, he comes in a big truck, fills the truck up, does the road, and then sends out another room now. If John got that whole fire department done for $400, we definitely want to get all that.
Stay right there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see your budget's gonna be way down this year.
But what?
Your budget's way down this year.
$60?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's up to you guys. I'm just telling you what, I like to see, we've got to do something with, Bird Point Road. And I'm sorry we did it 20 years ago and
Didn't work.
it didn't work. But it's not gonna work until you change the base.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all about the base.
yeah.
Put it back to a dirt road, it'd be smoother than what it is now.
Well, we should be graded.
Grade it.
It is a mess.
Is there anything we can do to even put sand and gravel on some of those potholes?
The only thing we can do right now is put coal patch in.
It's not good.
No, it does work pretty
Well, it
good.
does, but it's not a
Right,
solution.
it's no solution, it's definitely a Band-Aid.
Well, I think if the road is that bad,
How far are you going in?
Right to the end.
Oh, really, you guys don't turn on top of the hill no more?
so maybe we should look at, after this next rainstorm,
Yeah.
because if it's that bad, the bus, it's gonna be better than the, on the people living out there.
And you gotta remember, we've had a lot of damage done on that road and storms in the last few years that
Oh,
were
yeah.
unexpected, it's wrecked a little more than what,
So maybe we should,
there's a lot of trees and stuff that never got cleaned out of the ditches that should have, which was supposed to have, but.
Is it beneficial to have the engineer look at it as we're trying to get a grant to show it at its worst? For the grant contribution?
we've got the engineering done on the washout anyhow. the
But
erosion.
that erosion, that I think is our best shot at getting a
Right.
grant in
I think
there.
you won't get a grant for the rest of it, I don't think.
No, well, that's,
Yeah.
No, we might on the erosion maybe, but,
I hate to say it, but these grants have gone out since COVID too, and it's just, I think the time we see a grant, we're gonna need this job done. We have
the
put
state
it
has a significant.
off, we have put it off for 5 years now, waiting for a grant.
well, maybe we can patch some holes down there.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the area is nobody really sees what's going on.
So we're not gonna drive down in the school bus and
The kids learn to go faster.
Yeah, we do want to see a significant improvement next year at Birch Point Road. I mean, it has to happen.
Oh, I agree.
But basically, I wanna get right on getting it patched up, right, whether it's gold patch or whatever.
For a temporary.
Right, it's probably gonna cost the town $3,000 or $4,000 worth of cold patch. So
So,
it's,
How long ago did you ditch that? The beginning of it?
back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Because that's holding up pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good to your house.
Oh, yeah, well, no, we
But-
did that, yeah, that was the last phase of phase 3.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
But that was the
Soon
one
as you
that
go
we
by
did,
your house,
we brought it up right in
you
the
go
days.
yeah.
Quick.
We should have a few calls there too, we have to that cover, the water comes down, rush that down.
So, just to, what's the best way for the town now to handle small incidents that come up? A culvert washes out, a tree falls down across the road. How are we handling?
Got whoever's available to do it, to get it done.
Whether it's you, Hill, Jeremy, whatever,
I got 3 of us right in the town, I try to choose from, but sometimes
they not available. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I got a question. You mentioned $250,000 carryover. How does that figure into this budget?
It doesn't show on this sheet,
Okay.
but it will be carried over into the next fiscal year because it was appropriated at this current year's town meeting and it was not spent.
Roads. we
So
can
that
carry
is
over.
specifically for the erosion.
But that's the amount, it's not something you can.
Yes, correct.
Road money stays
Okay.
with road money.
That's, okay, that's what I wanted to.
Road money can be carried forward.
I see, okay.
And the big, some of that money is, like, we put $50,000 aside last year for ditching, and none of it's got that, so we still have that money to go towards ditching.
Is that part of the 250?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, that's in another, and that's where we gotta get, how we gonna do these little small projects.
Well, I think we gotta up the minimum to 10,000, just do it. $5,000.
Well, we was on that roll at one time and then we worked.
Yeah, it was on $10,000.
I think part of,
That's what the board of selectmen decide what they're gonna do with that.
but I think what we were trying to do was encourage on ditching to have 15 quoted on instead of one ditch, to have, or culverts, to have it done as a blanket purchase to get more money and more road for the money.
Yeah, we'll let the board decide on that. Any other questions for Steve? All right, thank you, Steve.
You guys feel free to call me if you have more questions.
Okay. Thanks, I will.
Okay, ride down to Bridgeport.
I've been down there in the past month, and like I said, I had to get a kidney transplant.
Now you don't have to walk. We gotta do that, though, we put it off too long. I agree. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome. So, I'm gonna put up the bid and get the fire department stuff going, so we can have a nice looking yard.
Yeah, get with John and see anything that he needs and what you guys can come up with.
There's money around in the budget there somewhere to get it done, so,
She'd go to the school and for school at the same time.
well, that's, I don't
We'll
know.
make-
We see who wants us to get involved.
We see the school next week, 29th.
Yeah,
We'll ask them.
just let me know, if
Last
if they need some assistance.
That doesn't come out of their budget?
It would, but if we're gonna pave this fire station, you want to do it at the same time.
Right, we could piggyback for the same
Well, I
price.
understand if their budget, not ours.
No, it won't be, we'll just look at it and see what their thoughts are on that. Okay,
Right,
thank you,
Thanks,
Steve.
thanks guys. Sorry I couldn't give more help.
We're working on it.
Yell out.
Yep.
Thank you.
Um, Things that some are beyond the control of the meeting dates and all that, we're gonna have to cancel next week's budget meeting on the 30th. Just different things that we had worked on budget-wise. So we're gonna deal with the town office budget on the 6th of April.
So next week's canceled.
Next week, we have the 29th,
That's the
the school, at the school,
That's the Wednesday.
at 6 o'clock.
Right.
At the school. And then the 30th is canceled. We're gonna meet on the 6th of April. Did I get the dates right? Yes. At 7 o'clock. For the town office budget.
Here.
Here. Then if, I haven't heard back officially from Emily at the school yet, but she was asking for a little more time. But we gotta vote at some point. So if it works for her, we'll vote on the 13th of April, which is a Thursday.
It's essentially a month from the town meeting.
What is the relationship between the school budget and the town budget?
None.
The different budgets controlled by different, the school controls theirs, the town.
So why are we having a hearing on budget for the school?
Because we look at that budget as well.
Because the town pays for their revenue, the revenues from the town go to the school.
It's a municipal school, meaning we're not part of an RSU.
Or standalone.
Yeah, so it's our school.
Okay, sorry, I have to,
Yeah, we're not part of the district.
By all rights, if the school did not want to meet with us,
they wouldn't have to,
they wouldn't have to.
so, okay, so
But
it's a courtesy
they
thing.
like to have it, the questions, they like to be reviewed, and, it works out good that way.
Got it, got it.
If that changes, I'll get back to you, but that's what it is for now. The question mark would be if Emily can wait to the 13th. If not, we may have to vote in the school budget on the 6th after the town office budget.
What does that mean if Emily's ready by the 13th?
Well, she has certain dates she has to meet as far as having, I think
The warrant for the,
she has to have, I think, 2 readings at school meetings
I
on the
see.
budget.
I see.
And
Sorry.
if you can't, no, that's fine. If you can't get it time-wise, then we have to vote earlier than the
Gotcha.
13th, so, to accommodate her budget schedule. Because she has a different schedule than the town does, different rules and regulations.
I understand.
See, and that's all new for me too.
Oh, good, I feel better.
I've been here a long time.
And this has been a little odd
I just
year,
go along with the flow. David keeps track.
sometimes. All right, anything else?
So what's fast next Wednesday?
At the school,
What time?
6 o'clock.
I'll try to get home by
And hopefully we're meeting in the gym and not the small chairs in the library.
then. Oh, come on.
Emily said we could, so we'll assume we will.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock after school. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Second. All those in favor?